The assembled Protestant nobles responded by throwing the pair out the window. Now, what happened next depends on who you believe.
Yo, 30 Years War. I'm finally reacting to this. This was a suggestion that was sent to me.
Then falls again.
I didn't forget. I didn't forget.
Some have their hands chopped off.
I didn't forget. I said this, and I'll say it here again. I'm doing every single thing that has been suggested to me. Just give me time. Let's continue.
Quartered and put on spikes.
I'm finally getting started on this series.
Of the Bohemian Revolt, the Protestant uprising against the Holy Roman Emperor Ferdinand II, die one after the other. Ferdinand, it is said, plans to dominate and re-Catholicize Bohemia. He's ordered all Protestants to convert or leave. Back on the street, a common woman watches the executions unfold. Axes and swords falling again and again.
Oh.
Then she goes home.
And bro, how can people watch beheadings? You know what? Nah, bro, I can't even be talking because I just watch, like, I used to watch gore back when that was a website, gore.com. I can't be talking. But no, I watched that on a video.
And trying to make sense of what she's
like actually seeing that in person, like how can you watch that?
Opens her Bible to the book of Revelation. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. She closes her book. This war, she knew, had only just begun.
Oh! Yo! Crazy, because I think we're at like the third seal broken.
Thanks so much to HelloFresh for bringing this episode to the table. The 30 Years' War was one of the most destructive periods in all of European history. 3 decades of bloodletting, massacre, and death that would not be surpassed in body count until the trenches of World War I. And that's an incredible concept, considering that the armies that went to war between 1618 and 1648 had none of the mechanized instruments of slaughter available in the 20th century. This was a war of pike and shot, where men went to battle hefting bladed weapons, or muskets so heavy that they required a forked stand to rest them on. Yet even with just these crude implements, up to 8 million people lost their lives.
Yo. When I did that World War II casualty, the fall of World War II, and he was showing like different periods of time. I don't know if you watched that. Check it out after this one. And he showed the 30 Years War. Yeah, bro, this is wild. This is wild. Because how many people lived in Europe at this time, bro? And freaking like 8 million people died. That is crazy, bro.
Did not fall equally in all places. Kicked off by a political religious dispute in the Holy Roman Empire, the vast majority of the fighting took part in Central Europe, so the population there bore the heaviest share of the violence. In some areas, over half the population died, and the empire lost about 20% of its people. Civilian casualties outnumbered.
What in the world is up with Germany and losing so much of its population? Jeez, man.
Military deaths 7-1, and the Holy Roman Empire would take a century to recover its population. But describing in detail why this happened is difficult. In fact, we could spend an entire series just explaining why this war started, the early military campaigns, or how the Treaty of Westphalia ended it. Instead, we've decided to take a look at the 30 Years' War as a massive humanitarian crisis and explore why the body count reached such incredible heights. We'll look at factors like military violence and battles, but also starvation, poor harvests, weather conditions, and outbreaks of epidemic disease.
Bro, doesn't sickness, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually in wars, isn't it like sickness that kills most of the soldiers, if I'm not mistaken, right?
We'll be using a device that many people in the worst affected lands turned to. Apocalyptism. The 4 horsemen from the King James Bible, unleashed to scour a quarter of the earth, are an ideal way to divide the period's many dangers. Conquest, war, famine, and death. And today, we'll be looking at the first. Conquest. When Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to a church door in 1517, he not only sparked a religious reformation, he plunged Europe into what would become decades of religious war. Political units across the continent, from kingdoms like England and Bohemia, down to levels of individual towns.
Okay, bro. Didn't England become Anglican Christian because Henry VIII just wanted to divorce his wife?
If I'm not mistaken, church doctrine and political power.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is this more true than the lands of the Holy Roman Empire, which quickly became a patchwork of majority Catholic and majority Lutheran provinces, towns, and cities? But war is a destructive and expensive endeavor.
Very.
And by 1555, pretty much everyone was sick of it. So that year, Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, part of the Habsburg family that had
wait. Charles V
signed.
Wasn't Charles V the guy who was inbred? The guy with the weird chin? This, right? Was it Charles
with
V?
With the League of Lutheran Princes in Augsburg, Germany. The Peace of
Correct me if I'm
Augsburg
wrong,
had a
please.
single idea at its heart, expressed by the phrase, whose realm, his religion. Meaning, essentially, the prince of a realm, whatever its size, could decide whether to be Catholic or Lutheran and enforce that religious conformity on his territory. Those that did not wish to convert would then move to an area whose prince practiced their chosen faith. And for a while, the Peace of Augsburg worked pretty well. The key words, of course, being for a while. See, the Holy Roman Empire was a patchwork anyway, comprised of not big provinces, but estates. Some only a few square miles, and not even continuous, where the head authority was a prince. Though in reality, these princes could be lords, counts, bishops, knights, abbots, or even a representative of a free city. Each of these had a vote at the Imperial Diet and was semi-autonomous. Then the emperors were elected by 7 elector princes, and as a result, had very little direct control over lands in the empire unless their family personally governed them. So...
What? I know the Holy Roman Empire was called the First German Reich. The First German Empire. I mean, I can see why people would say that this was the first German Empire, but it didn't really feel like an empire. It was just more of a kingdom. I mean, yeah, that's basically what the Holy Roman Empire is, right? It's basically the kingdom of Germany that was transformed after Otto the Great, right? Yeah, okay. But still, this system is just
whose realm is
so
religion
confused.
was a fitting solution.
Dude, I tried so hard to understand the Holy Roman Empire history. Not history, but like the way how the system worked. I just can't understand how that works.
For this decentralized
If someone wants to explain it to me, please.
empire. And on a day-to-day basis, German Lutherans and Catholics became pretty used to each other. In fact, evidence indicates up to 20% of marriages crossed that theological division. Things were stable. Not without tension or danger, but people were able to navigate the chasm in their daily lives. But the Peace of Augsburg did leave out a Protestant group that even the Lutherans considered heretics: Calvinists, who, among other theological differences with Lutherans, argued that Jesus was only spiritually present in the bread and wine served during communion. Because Calvinists were not included in the Peace of Augsburg, they had no religious protections, even when under a Lutheran ruler, meaning their safety hinged on whoever was in charge and how lenient they were, which is how things kicked off in Bohemia in 1618. For nearly a decade, the Holy Roman Emperors had expanded Protestant rights in Bohemia. This included a pragmatic decree called the Letter of Majesty, granting religious freedom to the Bohemian estates and letting Bohemians develop what amounted to a state church. But in 1617, Holy Roman Emperor Matthias was sickly and childless, wanting to solve his succession issue before he passed on. So, he got the Bohemian estates, which voted on their kings, to elect his cousin Ferdinand II as the next king of Bohemia after he died. Which was a problem, since it was well known that Ferdinand was a hardline Catholic who wanted to eradicate Protestantism within the empire. And once Ferdinand had gotten enough Lutheran princes on his side to win, the Calvinists were terrified. After all, Emperor Matthias was sick, and when he died, Ferdinand would not only become the King of Bohemia, he would also almost certainly be elected as Holy Roman Emperor. He'd lead the whole empire and also govern Bohemia directly. And that's when it all went out the window, literally. Because when Ferdinand sent a pair of hardline Catholic governors to administer Bohemia in his absence, a group of Bohemian Protestants met them at Prague Castle. After the pair read aloud a threatening letter from Ferdinand, the assembled Protestant nobles responded by throwing the pair out the window. Now, what happened next depends on who you believe.
Yo! Foul. That is foul. That is foul. Violation, bro.
Catholic propagandists say that angels swept down to catch the governors.
Bro,
while Protestants said the men survived because they fell in a giant pile of dung. And then we have historians pointing out that they landed on a gradual slope and broke a lot of bones. With this second defenestration of Prague, that being a fancy word for throwing someone out a window. And yeah, this was the second time it happened. The 30 Years' War began. The revolt spread across Bohemia, which was already primed for religious war. And it might have stayed a local conflict, except that Matthias died, and Frederick did succeed him as Holy Roman Emperor, causing panic amongst other Protestants in the empire. Then, sides formed. Austrian Protestants joined the rising, as did some in Germany. Bohemia attempted to join the Protestant Union, a group of Protestant estates in the empire that formed as a sort of mutual defense pact, and invited the Calvinist elector prince, Frederick V, to be king of Bohemia. Ferdinand, by turn, called in military aid to his cousin Philip II, the King of Spain, forming the Catholic League. This Catholic League marched on Austria, one of their armies headed by the Count of Tilly, a brilliant but ruthless commander. Then, on November 8, 1620, 27,000 Catholic troops stood outside Prague, the only thing in their way being 15,000 Bohemians on a low rise called White Mountain. The Bohemians crumpled, a flank attack sending their first units into retreat. Many rebels, seeing their fellows running, joined the rout without firing a shot. Then the Imperial cavalry surrounded and massacred them. 4,000 dead in an hour. Ferdinand had entered Prague as a conqueror, and the Habsburgs would personally govern Bohemia for the...
Yo! In an hour, bruh? Because when he said 4,000 dead, I was like, okay, well, that's not really a lot for this time. That's, you know, typical. But in an hour, bro, 24 hours in a day, bro, in like 10 hours, that's like 40,000 people dead, bro. 20 hours is 80 to... Oh, wow. Wow, that's really
next 300
the more
years.
You think about that,
A few months later, the axes raised and fell on the rebel leaders. Frederick V went into exile, and the man who welcomed him to Prague had his tongue nailed to the city gate. But Ferdinand...
What? Oh, no, bro. Why are these people so barbaric? Oh my gosh. He had his tongue nailed. Oh my gosh. I swear, I'm never prepared for this stuff, bro. I swear, I'm never prepared for this stuff, bro.
And had pushed too far, and this would not stay a small regional conflict. For the second horseman was on his way to take peace from the earth. War. Oh boy, Zoe, there is no way we are...
War. Only 11 minutes. Usually my reactions are much longer than this, but it's whatever. This was a good video. I hope that this video does well because, you know, I would love to react to more of this YouTube channel and their videos because I've heard of, I watch a bit of extra history and, you know, the channel kind of has some really bad taste, but they still have some good videos, you know? So I would love to react to that, but you've made it all the way here, man. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. You made it all the way till the end. Come on, subscribe. Check out my other videos on my YouTube channel if you like my reactions, and check out the videos on your screen right now. If you have any suggestions, comment it down below. My name's Bajan Englishman, or you can just call me Bajan. And thank you for watching, and stay tuned, man.